dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs
What up,
you.
y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for a Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. We're talking about Dynamite, February 19th, 2025. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. Ian Riccaboni, Taz, and Excalibur on commentary. I believe Tony was there. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I know he was there in the end. And then out of nowhere, JR comes on. And we're at the Arizona Financial Theater. This is a small place. My brother was on Ground Zero. He was there. Boots on the ground. Yeah, he told me that they only filled the bottom half. There was an upper half that they didn't fill. And I'm like, I wonder if that was on purpose or if they just couldn't actually sell out this place as well. Because if you watch this, the place is really tiny. Like it's a I think a theater where a band plays on the stage and whatnot. Yeah. I do like the smaller arenas right now for AEW. I really do. Just because it's much more intimate. Like, it's just feels like it's back to the indie days, you know. But at the same time, Tony wants this promotion to be a heavy hitter against WWE, who's selling out arenas and selling out shows nonstop. And when my brother told me that they didn't have the top part, they had the top part blocked off, the upper balcony, I was like, that doesn't sound good. Yeah, it looks great because you could shoot all around. You had cameras, but man, yeah, I'm feeling like they're going the opposite route now, and this show felt like that because we started off with the Hangman Adam Page and MJF, and I don't care. I love MJF, I do, and everything they've been doing with him lately is so boring. How the best thing he had going for him is what he did with Dustin Rhodes a couple weeks ago, but then we sweep that under the rug. Because we've been teasing this Hangman Adam Page and MJF fight. I know it goes deep in the lore of AEW itself. You know, they even told us Hangman Adam Page has been such a bad guy, burning down houses. Everything MJF says is like, now that makes you the good guy? He beat the crap out of Christopher Daniels and made him retire, and that's what triggered him to be like, well, you know, don't say that. Christopher Daniels, he went out like a warrior. I'm like, but the context is you're just an asshole. He called him old man. You know, he said, I'm going to retire you. I'm going to beat you down. But the fact that a couple weeks ago, Christopher Daniels was like, it's because of you I won't wrestle again. And that made your whole morals change? I was with MJF on this whole thing. But my brother says Hangman Adam Cage got a pop. They were screaming cowboy shit. And I'm just watching these two go at it. And I'm just like, there's nothing. There's nothing here for me. I know we're going to get a great match. And that's why I come to AEW for that reason, is because I am here for awesome wrestling matches. I'm not here for story anymore, apparently. Like, just everything between these two is just so goddamn boring. And then after MJF spits in Hangman's face, they tease the fight. MJF walks out. Christopher Daniels comes out. Hangman's like, oh, you know, my friend now, who I disrespected and everything. And Christopher Daniels grabs his gear for Hangman. But Daniels tells him, this is what I wanted. This is who I was trying to protect. I'm like, okay. Then they showed the Grand Slam Australia package. Success. Renee's with Undisputed Kingdom talking to Roderick. And then I forgot about the conglomeration. Until it was mentioned in this, because Roderick is... Okay, this is where I got confused. Okay, so Roderick Strong's taking on Orange Cassidy tonight in the main event. And this International Championship series. But it's not really a series. So the winner will face Takeshita next week for the International Championship. And they will face Kenny Omega at Revolution. even though Kenny Omega challenged Takeshita for the International Championship. So, and because they still have story, I'm using quotations, with, you know, something to complete with each other. But I don't understand what this international series is helping or doing. Like, is it supposed to be like, oh, they might pull a fast one on us? It might be Orange Cassidy and Kenny Omega. Well, I don't think so, because at the same time, I'm like, where the hell has Orange Cassidy been? As you can tell, I'm fired up. But yeah, the conglomeration. Let's go back to that. Because, you know, they're all friends now. Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole, Roderick Strong. They have the Undisputed Kingdom. And where's the Kingdom? It's like, after we got these three together, it was like, boom, they kicked those two out. I'm very sad about that. But so they're there, and they asked, Renee's like, well, what about your buddy, you guys in the conglomeration? I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Fever dream. And he's like, don't worry about it. We're still conglomerate, blah, 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 blah. I would say the match of the night, there was only 4 matches on the show. The match of the night is coming up next. The first one of the night, the Patriarchy versus the Ops. Oh, Joe, come home. Come back to WWE, please. The Ops is such a terrible name. You know, and they had the fire. The Ops wins. And this, like I said, this was a really fun trios match, if you want to call it that. But man, the AEW has something wrong. Like, they have just terrible names they can just grab onto. You know, WWE does too. Pure Fusion Collective, like, there's that. But the Ops, I was supposed to be like, hey man, you heard about the Ops? No, I heard about Joe and 2 other people that are with him, Speak and Spell and Hook. So, fun match, but I highlighted this comment from Ian Riccaboni. Because when Joe got in there and started fighting everybody, he goes, it's like when you are at the playground and you're playing with the older gentlemen. I'm like, what is that? What? I don't know if I was scratching my head at that line. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. It's like when you're at the playground, you're playing with the older gentlemen. Like, you know? It's like, I don't understand that line, Ian Riccaboni. And it just doesn't sound right at all. And I love Ian Riccaboni. Then we get Renee with Jericho. My brother told me that they booed him, told him to retire. I guess he has a match with Bandito, and they filmed Collision the same night, so I saw those spoilers for that. They also filmed some Ring of Honor. My brother says by the time Ring of Honor came out, that place emptied. And I'm like, that place is already small enough, so if he ain't sticking around for Ring of Honor, that's pretty much dead in the water at this point. So Jericho's going to put his championship on the line against Bandito. Don't care. Here, the street fight. I'm wondering, why is this not at Revolution? This is an awesome feud between these two. We could have built it to a street fight at Revolution, but here we're just giving it away, and it was okay. That's it. Of course, you had the bag of bricks, and there was the finish was fucking weird. Like, Hobbs was on the steps, and I think he was going to try to pick him up to throw him into the tables and whatnot, but he couldn't, so he just pushes Big Bill. And Big Bill falls, and he gets tangled up in the barbed wire, and he gets a count out. And it's over. I was like, wow, I expected more, especially when you have graffiti walls with Big Bill and Hobbs' face. I was wondering, I asked my brother, I was like, that's weird. What are those for? Random steps on there, and I don't know. And the spot looked so silly when Hobbs is supposed to be, in quotations, jamming his face into the steel steps, and he's doing it, but you can see the hands blocking. I understand. I don't want Big Bill to get hurt. I understand that, but a little more believability. Jesus. Now, this is dead in the water to me. Now that Hobbs beat Big Bill, I don't want to see these two fight again. I'd rather see Hobbs move on. Let's move Hobbs on. He deserves better than this. So it was a disappointment. Honestly, a very big disappointment. I wish this was at Revolution. Renee's with the Murder Machines, Cage and Archer. Yeah. Hey, the best part of the night right here. Toni Storm. And she didn't really do much either. You know, she came out beautiful as ever. cuts her promo, does her catchphrases and everything. Still over more than everybody else, but I really got to thinking about this because I went to go drop off my daughter, and I got into deep thought. Who's worthy of facing Toni Storm and getting that championship? Anna Jay? No. Julia Hart? I wish. Willow Nightingale? I wish. Chris Statlander? No. Megan Bayne? Jade Cargill 2.0? Thunder Rosa? No. And I'm going down the line. I'm just like, where's Athena? Athena should be brought up already. I think she could be a major star in AEW. I really think that. Did I already say Penelope and Jamie Hayter? Britt Baker's gone. Britt Baker's out. She doesn't want to be there. Mercedes Moné, 5 belts, 10 belts. Mercedes Moné. Harley, maybe, but you killed her by having Mercedes Moné beat her in Australia in her home country. You left the door open with Mariah May and Tony because Tony got the pin, but the women's division is so sad in AEW. And I'm glad they put that title back on Toni Storm because Mariah May's run wasn't really that great either. It was just like, well, we got to revert back to Toni. Who's on this roster that's worthy? Nobody. There's nobody. If there is, tell me in the comments. Who do you think is next up to take on Toni Storm for that championship? Because you know damn well with her just getting the role of Mariah May, we're going to get a rematch at some certain point. Maybe at Revolution. But yeah, I was just looking at the roster itself. I was like, I don't see anybody that has like the power, star power Toni Storm has, or we are rooting for. Hell, I don't see it with the AEW Men's Championship. Like Cope and Mox. Blech. I don't want that. This whole place was built on let's start a revolution. Let's wins and losses matter, and and this and that, and we've drizzled down to this state of AEW. Like 5 years ago, this place was popping, couldn't stop, kept building. COVID got in the way, then they came back, had some really great years, and this last year to this year has just not been it. And I love Toni Storm, I really do, but I was really thinking about it. Who's next? Who's the star? There's no stars in this women's division. There's potential stars, like a Julia Hart who has an amazing entrance, okay matches. Megan Bayne just got here, so I was really in deep thought and very sad of that thought itself, just being like, man. And you look over at WWE. I'm not trying to compare, but I'm comparing. You look over there, look at that roster. The women's roster alone is they had more matches on NXT than anything, and they had great matches at their pay-per-view Vengeance Day. And look at that roster compared to the women's roster in AEW. It makes me sad. It really does. Okay, on to this doesn't help. Renee's with Willow, and poor Willow gets interrupted again. And Willow tells Renee, like, your husband took away my TV time. And then here comes Marina, the briefcase. Here comes the Mox cult. Mox comes out. Phoenix, Arizona, you know who I am. Here comes Jay White. Then here comes Cope. Pulls out Spike. Sleepy time. Sleepy time. Ugh. Sends the Mox cult away. Cope, I want to win, blah, 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 revolution, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. All right. Can we move on? Please. Okay. Renee, oh, God. It's with the Mercedes Moné. We didn't move to a better thing, but she's talking to her. Then we got Momo. I don't know who this is. Like, when she shoved that belt in her face last week, I was like, who? I don't know this. And, like, Momo was like, she's with Lexi, and she's like, I challenge you. I was like, that's cool. At Revolution. I'm like, wow. Okay. I don't know who this is. Well, Kyle, maybe you should watch some New Japan Pro Wrestling. You should watch the... No, I'm good. You can keep that. You can keep that. Whoever Momo is, I hope she's awesome. But this was just a curveball of a thing to throw on a pay-per-view. And speaking of pay-per-view, why is Chris Statlander versus Megan Bayne not on the Revolution pay-per-view? Like, two massive, like, two massive, like, giants here. And it just kind of ends. Megan, she gets the win. Yeah, and completely just kills whatever they were trying to do with this feud. And to make it more awkward, after they started like being Penelope Ford's out there, she helped the win. Tired of her as well. Then here comes Thunder Rosa, and I'm just like, ugh. She can't even swing a chair. She can't swing it. Like she came out so like gingerly got into the ring, and she's holding that chair, and then Penelope grabs it. They kind of do it back and forth, and I was like, Megan, if you're this dominant beast, slap the chair down and beat Thunder Rosa's ass. This whole sequence was just awkward. I'm just like, she comes out, and she's like, I got the chair, and I'm like, Megan, you know what would have made this spot even better? If Thunder Rosa actually swung that chair correctly, Megan Bayne hits that, like, punches that chair, and it was just this weird sequence, and I'm like, ugh. And talking about, Renee's with Max, best wrestler in the world. My brother asked me, he's like, is all AEW promos just the same? I was like, yeah, pretty much. I'm the best wrestler in the world. This is where the best wrestle, blah, 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 blah. They're all cut and dry and just boring. Max, I saw he faces Brody at Collision. Here's a little spoiler for you. Brody wins. Max is jobbing. It's just like, okay. Yeah. Ricochet comes out. He has the robe. Do we get Swerve? Is Swerve in the house? My brother said he picked me up a Swerve shirt. Thank you. Whose house? Swerve's house. It's my boy. But no Swerve. Just Ricochet. Ha-ha! That's stupid. Ugh. Here comes Prince Nana. My brother was telling me Ricochet was not getting love. As rightfully so. He has fallen from grace in my eyes. The Twitter meltdowns, the constant defending of this company, and he's just being secondary to nothing. Like he's not even in the championship not opportunity. He's not even in the championship picture for anything. And he's just been shat upon. He had toilet paper thrown at him. And to his expense, fucking Swerve threw toilet paper at him. Like it's all a joke. But Prince Nana comes out. He got a little bit of a buzz. And Prince Nana is out there, and he's like, that robe, blah, 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 blah. And led to nothing. And Ricochet's like, well, take it from me. Aha! And walks out. And I'm like, all right. I'm trying here, folks. Some good news. May 20, I don't know if it's good news, but Double or Nothing. This usually in Las Vegas is now going to be in Phoenix at the Desert Diamond Arena. Venue might change. Oh my gosh. But yeah, we got March 9th Revolution, the May 25th Double or Nothing. I think I'm going to go to Double or Nothing. Yeah, I think I finally need to go to an AEW show. I didn't go this time because when shows are in the middle of the week, I got in the day job, like I get caught up there. Okay, here's that International Championship Series match. So Orange Cassidy versus Roderick Strong. It was okay. Then here comes JR on commentary randomly. I'm like, oh, JR's here tonight. You just misplaced this man over and over. Orange Cassidy gets the win. There's a little bit overrun on the time. And then here comes Tony Schiavone. And then here comes Don Callis. And here comes Takeshita. Then they all start fighting. And then Kenny comes out. Ooh, Kenny. And the commentators are trying to, who will Kenny face? Will he face Orange Cassidy or Takeshita? It's going to be Takeshita. It's good. It has to be Takeshita. Like, I don't see this little pit stop to Orange Cassidy versus Kenny Omega. Again, Orange Cassidy held that championship. I'm like, I don't see it. I like, I don't know what we're doing here. And that's what this whole show was about. Like, the best match of the night was the Patriarchy versus the Ops. But man, and I tried to really kind of invest in the Hangman and MJF, but I just don't care. They're going to fight a Revolution. There's things on the show I was like, why is that not on the Revolution pay-per-view? Mox Cult, Cope, all just boring. You know, this was probably like a very Dynamite. Honestly, I give it a 1 out of 5. February 19th, 2025, Ian, Taz, Excalibur, your mom, Kenny Omega, JR, all on commentary, Don Callis, I don't care. But that's it. Tell me what you thought of the show. Am I being too harsh? Because I came here to enjoy some wrestling, and there was only 4 matches on the card. And maybe we should just do, because I'm looking at Collision, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on the Collision card I'm looking at here. You know, and 1, 2, 3 promos, it looks like. But yeah, I think I'm going to get more wrestling from Collision than I did for Dynamite. And if you were trying to tell stories here on this Dynamite, that wasn't the case. So, Patriarchy, the Ops. All right. Drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Share with your grandma, share with your brother, share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB the Sexy Ninja. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life.
This you can't rebuff. This tramp is your new champ.